What's going on, Falcons fans? Logan here. I'm so excited to share this video with you guys, as this is a video I've been wanting to make for a very long time, and that is which Falcons players should you draft or stay away from in 2019. I might as well start things off by saying I love fantasy football. I love the competition and passion everyone gets when wanting to trade players or bragging who beats who. It's just that fun. Before I begin, I have two big announcements I want to make. One, I don't know when yet, but stay tuned because soon I'll make a video on who overall, so not just Falcons players, all around the NFL, who should you draft or stay away from in fantasy football 2019. It will not be uploaded on this channel, it'll be uploaded on me and my brother's sports channel, and the link is in the description of all of my videos, including this one. So go ahead and subscribe to that so you don't miss it. And two, I thought I'd just mention I maybe am coming off a championship season to where everyone thought I was crazy for drafting a rookie running back in Saquon Barkley, a wide receiver in Julio Jones, to where everyone is blind by the amount of touchdowns he gets. And oh yeah, I totally stole Patrick Mahomes. So I maybe know a thing or two about fantasy football. But let's get to which Falcons players should you draft or stay away from in 2019. Now, this is gonna sound bad, but I promise you it is no big deal. There's not that many Falcons players you would want to pick up. Again, it sounds bad, but here's why it's not. There is not one team out there to where if you drafted literally every single player on the offense, you'd win championship. Nope, not the Browns with Baker Mayfield and OBJ, not the Cowboys with Zeke Elliott and Amari Cooper, not the Aints with Drew Brees and Alvin Kamara. I promise you, if you draft literally every player on your favorite NFL team, you will not succeed. So when I say there's not that many Falcons players to pick up, it's no different from me saying that there's not that many Browns players to pick up, or Cowboys, Saints, whatever. But anyway, let's get started on Falcons players you should or should not draft in 2019. Now each player has a rating outline. If they have a green outline, that means go ahead and draft them right now. Yellow is kind of a whatever player. He just fills in if your starter is on a bye week or whatnot. Purple means he's a sleeper pick. I wouldn't necessarily be that confident he takes off, but keep an eye on him. And red means to just stay away from the player. But let's get started with Matt Ryan. He's going to have a green outline, as in you need to go grab him when you get the chance, and I'd feel totally comfortable starting him every week. He's usually on Fantasy Users roster every year anyway, and we're going to go more into why I think Matty Ice will be a great player to start, but I do want to mention I am aware of him being a little on and off every year in terms of fantasy. He didn't have a good 2015, then he became league MVP in 2016, then he had a bad 2017, and then he had an MVP type season in 2018. But I know why that is. It just so happened to be that in 2015 and 17, he had to work with new offensive coordinators, so of course he wasn't used to the playbook. In 2016 and 18, he studied it more and took advantage of it, so that explains why he was on and off. 2019 on technical terms is the same story. He has a new offensive coordinator. He should be kind of off, right? No, it's simple. He's worked with this guy before in Dirk Cutter. He's already used to what he likes to do, and he's played very well under him. Dirk Cutter also manages to make Jameis Winston look somewhat decent and make players like Chris Godwin and OJ Howard take off. If he can make mediocre players look good, imagine what he can do to elite players. So because this is a new offensive coordinator that Ryan has worked with before, I would not worry about him dropping off. And even if he does, I still project he'd score around 26 to 30 touchdowns, which is still very good. Outside of the offensive coordinator talk, you also have, in my opinion, the strongest offense Matt Ryan has ever worked with. Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley, Mohamed Sanu, Austin Hooper, Devontae Freeman, and of course the offensive coordinator that should make this offense fun to watch on Sundays. And last thing I'll mention, Matt Ryan seems to be on Fantasy Users roster every year anyway, so you don't have to be a Falcons fan to understand just how big of a piece he could be to your team. Everyone knows he scores touchdowns. Lots and lots of touchdowns. So yes, I would most definitely go grab Matt Ryan when you get the chance. he'd be a great quarterback to start every week. I think he'd even be a better player to start over Tom Brady, Drew Brees, and Phillip Rivers. Yes, I actually think that. I'll talk more about that in my other fantasy video to come out, but let's go to Devonta Freeman. The reason I have him as a sleeper pick is because I think with all the injuries he's been unlucky with, people are already sleeping on him. But yet, does everyone forget what he brings to the table when he is healthy? He's one of the best running backs in the league. I even made a whole video discussing what will happen if Freeman is in full health. If this guy is healthy, I could maybe feel comfortable putting him as a number 2 running back or flex option. However, I still would draft other running backs before him because I don't think there's been one season where Freeman wasn't injured. So I would draft Freeman late and keep him on the bench, but if he's showing some promise, that's when I would put him on the starting roster. Julio Jones. He has a green outline, as in you gotta go grab him right now. Anyway, we all knew that. Moving on. Mohamed Sanu has a red outline. I don't think he'll be on anyone's roster. He never really is. And he has a red outline because I think Matt Ryan will target him much less than he did. Yeah, Sanu can score, he can play quarterback and kicker, but how often do you see all of that happen? Matt Ryan will obviously want to let Julio Jones score more, get Austin Hooper going, and we all know they're going to want to try and get Calvin Ridley, the new guy, going. I don't see them targeting Sanu that much. In fact, he tweeted something about how he's not getting his money here or something. I just see way too many red flags with this guy. I wouldn't draft him. Even if he does show production, I would have a yellow outline around him. He's like a whatever player. He'll just fill in for my starter who's on a bye week. Calvin Ridley. I think this is the biggest sleeper of the year. Calvin frickin' Ridley. Did you see what happened early in the year? He sure was on a lot of people's roster. Why did he disappoint later on? Because they were trying to get Julio Jones involved in the end zone, who scored 8 touchdowns in the last 9 games. I even had a video explaining why Calvin Ridley could totally break out in 2019. Great route runner and quickness, he is a total stud. And by the way, for those that say he can drop the ball some, you can coach up a player to catch a ball, so he'll improve his hands. And like I said earlier, Matt Ryan is obviously going to want to get him going because if you know this team well, they don't let draft picks go to waste. We saw that with Tevin Coleman year 2, Vic Beasley year 2, heck, even Grady Jarrett year 2. I think Calvin Ridley will totally break out year 2. I would keep an eye on him. Austin Hooper. I don't think Hooper is someone you should have starting as your tight end, but he'd make an excellent second string tight end. 78% of users had him on their roster last year. That's actually not that bad. When he's in, he might not do a ton, but he'll put up a decent amount of points. I even would put him over Jimmy Graham and Evan Ingram. And I know I can confidently say that because those were the tight ends I had last year, and they were fat L's for me. Ito Smith. It all just depends with him. I do like Ito Smith. I maybe will make a video on why people need to respect him a bit more. But fantasy-wise, I, to be honest, would not really pick him up right away. He's a yellow because, going back to what I said earlier, Falcons don't let their draft picks go to waste, and Ito Smith is entering year 2 of his NFL career. So maybe we see him put up a decent 7 to 12 points per game, but at the same time, he's behind Freeman. So will he get lots of workloads? Maybe. It's all just a wait and see approach with Ito Smith, but if he does improve this year, he'd put up some decent 7 to 12 points per game. Now everyone else on the offense, like Quadre Allison, Justin Hardy, Marcus Green, Matt Schaub, just don't draft them. They all would have a red outline. Let's talk about the defense and special teams. I do love this defense. You guys hear me say all the time that Dan Quinn switching to defensive coordinator is such a huge move for us, and this defense could most certainly rank in the top 5 or 10. But last time our defense was healthy back in 2017, we ranked in the top 9 overall, but we also ranked second to last in turnovers. So what this tells me is that this is just more of a brick wall defense to where you can't score much instead of a defense that just snatches turnovers over and over. And in fantasy, it's pretty important to have turnovers. Keanu Neal is more of a hard-hitting safety. Desmond Trufant likes batting balls down instead of catching them. Deion Jones might have to deal with the run. We do have DeMonte Casey and Ricardo Allen coming back, and they always seem to be consistent in interceptions, so I maybe would watch out for that. I'm not saying this defense is bad, but I want to see them create more turnovers is all. But me personally, this could maybe be a good defense to have on certain weeks, but I don't think they do a ton like the Texans or Bears defense. Hopefully I'm wrong about that, because I want Dan Quinn to create the next Legion of Boom. And last but not least, Giorgio Tavecchio, the kicker. And I know nobody cares about kicker, but Matt Bryant is gone and everyone would have added him. But what about the new guy? As I do with almost every player, I even have a video on why Giorgio Tavecchio is so underrated. He kicks 40 and 50 plus yarders like it's nothing. Check out his game against the Giants Monday night. He nailed a 56-yarder. Totally underrated. And now that he's in for the whole season, I could definitely see him doing more for us than he did last season. I still would go grab other kickers first, since it was only 1 year we saw Tavecchio play for us, but do keep an eye on him. But that's my list of which Falcons players should you draft or stay away from in 2019. I hope you guys understand my takes on all these guys, and even if they have a red outline, it doesn't mean they'll do bad for the season. They're just players I wouldn't pick up in fantasy. But I do love this Falcons team just as much as the next guy. I want to see them all hold that trophy by February. Stay tuned for my Who Should You Draft or Stay Away From in Fantasy Football 2019 on me and my brother's sports channel. Not sure when that will come out, but it will soon. Other than that, please make sure to smash that like button, blow up the comment section, and definitely hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any weekly content. There's new episodes every Tuesday and Friday at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern, and I will see you guys this Friday at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern. Rise up.